Hello, it is August 22nd and it is 11:50 a.m. right now. So right now I had to talk about a few things, mainly Kashif Firozvi. The thing that you have to understand about Kashif Firozvi is the fact that Kashif Firozvi is working on behalf of his mistresses, mainly Miss Hopkins and Kelly from law enforcement. Now, there's a history behind these two people, and the facts and evidences will clearly show and prove that right before Kashif Firozvi came in and he started to make his testimony against me, Miss Hopkins texted Kashif Firozvi, cried over to him, and asked him to go ahead and testify there, and so did Kelly from law enforcement do so. Now, there's certain things that you have to understand about these people, like Kelly from law enforcement and Miss Hopkins. So Kelly from law enforcement, we have a huge history of her running after me, and just from last night around at 9 p.m. last night was August the 21st, around 9 p.m. or so, Kelly from law enforcement was trying to have me seduced by her friend, my neighbor, who's a married woman, by the way, by having her creak her door open and make creaking noises on her door to try to seduce me with her after she has already put through all this drama of having that neighbor of mine walk her dog outside my balcony. And then what ended up happening was I started having the blinds closed, and then she had her friend have her dog bark outside my window. Due to which, just this week, while she would be stimulating my penis, and due to which I told her to get the heck off my face and told her friend to do so as well. Kelly from law enforcement, you have to understand that this occurred right before August the 20th. So on August the 20th at 2:25 p.m., the courts came to a conclusion that I definitely had the most rare and profitable brain savant in the world. I had instantaneous photographic memory, innovation, and focusing, and also the fact that my powers increased over time, making it literally the most rare and profitable brain savant in the world right now. And also the fact that they're not letting me speak. The fact that using these powers, I can literally come up with one patent every 30 days, something that a human being relies on once in a lifetime and tries to run on the savings of it. I could do it every 30 days. And obviously that is what they came up with as a conclusion on August 20th at 2:25 p.m. Now, obviously, law enforcement is not going to argue against artificial intelligence anymore, saying that it's flawed and it's inaccurate, because if they do, then I'm going to agree with them and say that it is flawed and inaccurate, due to which the trial, which is being watched by literally the entire world, every single leader in the world, will be seen very clearly the fact that since 2001, all law enforcement's done is run sex schemes and money fraud with everyone, with the money fraud literally about to start right now, since it's not going to stop for this long. We all know this for a fact. And the sex schemes with Uncle Joey's in-laws starting from 2001, because of which they had to provide Uncle Joey with the governor's protocol. The courts and the trial, seeing all these facts and seeing the fact that I've committed no crimes, never even remotely present in any crime scenes, never attempted to commit any crimes, never even remotely around anyone who can conspire to commit any crimes or anything of that certain nature, the courts will be forced to see, well, law enforcement and their BFFs are criminals that committed the wedding crime, like Asad and Sohaib, who were there, who heard about it with their ears, who saw it with their eyes, every single thing in the wedding crime occurring. The courts and this trial will see that it clearly looks like they try to fabricate and frame me for the wedding crime in 2023 after admitting and confessing that they knew I had nothing to do with it. Clearly proven from facts and evidences that there has to be another motive for why law enforcement is so obsessed with me. And since both parties agree that artificial intelligence is not a valid source of information, the trial, which is being watched by the entire world, literally will have to prove itself being impartial by finding another way of proving that brain savant by forcefully administering a 30-minute brain savant test, in which time I will take out a textbook from my tablet and show the world exactly what brain savant is mainly capable of doing. Yes, so obviously they're not going going to argue against artificial intelligence anymore, saying that it's flawed. We all know this for a fact. The fact of the matter is, yes. So the thing that is really occurred right now recently is the fact that Kelly from law enforcement was after August 20th at 2:25 p.m. when the courts came to this conclusion that if artificial intelligence is right, and I'm not psychic enough to guess what it's saying about me being a triple brain savant with increasing powers over time, making me the most rare and profitable brain savant in the world. If artificial intelligence is right about this, then I definitely am capable of coming up with one patent every 30 days, something that a normal human being relies on once in a lifetime, something that is already proven through artificial intelligence and could be proven easily in 30 minutes with a naked human eye observing it for 30 minutes, me performing my brain savant test, which law enforcement obviously is not doing due to their sex addiction, sex schemes that they're running on these girls. Now, the thing about it is just the fact that Kelly from law enforcement, we all know for a fact that even before August 20th, when the courts came to this conclusion, Kelly from law enforcement was running after me very aggressively, mainly due to the fact that not only due to June 24th being overanalyzed by July 18, but also the fact that law enforcement just wouldn't give up. They would keep overanalyzing artificial intelligence only because it could speak almost as if it was a suspect in custody each and every single day, due to which Kelly from law enforcement then started advertising herself. You got to remember, this is no James Bond mission, because if she was playing James Bond over here, first of all, it wouldn't come right when the brain savant test results come out, letting me know that the brain savant test result has come out. It wouldn't come out. She wouldn't be running after me right when it was overanalyzed, and she always does. She wouldn't be running after me after courts would come to a conclusion on my brain savant, like how they did on August 20th at 2:25 p.m., coming to a conclusion that if artificial intelligence is correct and I'm not psychic enough to guess its report, then I am definitely the most profitable and rare brain savant in the world right now, especially due to the fact that my powers increase over time. So Kelly from law enforcement at 2:25 p.m. on August 20th touched my tongue and then made my rectum feel wet, letting me know that the courts definitely came to a conclusion of that sort on August 20th at 2:25 p.m. So then after that, even after July 18, obviously till August 20th, law enforcement was overanalyzing my brain savant test from June 24th over and over and over and over again. Kelly from law enforcement obviously had a front row seat to that, as to observe that being overanalyzed. Excuse me, due to which it got very dirty. So we know for a fact she's no James Bond, okay? This is no James Bond thing that she's playing over here. It's always due to brain savant test results being overanalyzed, and she always runs after me very dirtily every single time it gets overanalyzed. So let me show you exactly what I mean. So this is August the 9th, okay? She starts using these dating app, okay? So this is August the 9th as well, 5:07 p.m. And look at how dirty this picture is that she put on my phone right over here, okay? Then August the 9th at 5:13 p.m., same thing, dirty pictures. Then encouraging me to use my credit card to run after her, okay? And then August the 9th, obviously 5:29 p.m., all right, and then August the 12th, threatening to murder me with that episode of a woman who shoots up everyone who's a cheating spouse, okay? So this just keeps going on and on. She keeps sending all these pictures over to me, so you get the point, okay? And the other thing is, Kelly from law enforcement is not supposed to be telling me what her name is. She's literally the only person whose name I know from law enforcement, and you know this for a fact because you have a brain scanner on my brain, and sometimes they use kind of drugs on me, due to which I cannot control my thought processes. Sometimes it's delusional, sometimes it's repeating thoughts, sometimes things of that certain nature, due to which if I knew anyone else's name, law enforcement would have known, but I don't know a single person's name except for her. I've seen her face outside the Russian consulate. She's a thin-faced Caucasian girl with a double chin, and she had a hair like it was hair almost like it was a mop. It was like that, the only way I could describe it. Now she's got braids after July, which is what she told me. Now, the thing about Kelly from law enforcement is she pursued me very aggressively, and just before August 20th, she was having her friend, my neighbor, bark her dog outside my window only because, and while she would stimulate my penis, only because I would have my blinds closed to try to seduce me so I would sleep with her, and then Kelly would be able to make up with me to try to run after me before my brain savant would get freed. Now, you have that, and then you also have, like last night, August 21st around 9 p.m., what Kelly from law enforcement did was have that same friend of hers open her house door and make creaking noises to try to seduce me and run after me. And I made let the courts know about it on video as well last night. Now, Kelly from law enforcement obviously is going to want my brain savant locked up. She does not want someone else's daughter having that money that she was rejected from, obviously. And the same thing applies with Miss Hopkins. Miss Hopkins is one of those teachers who run after their own students, and she does that. Now, she found out about my brain savant and she ran after me very aggressively. I was just trying to be nice. I didn't want to be rude towards someone, but what ended up happening was I did not even know it, but the November 14th brain savant test results came out on December 10th, the night of December 10th, and on December 11th, Miss Hopkins had me tortured through law enforcement with severe mental torture drugs, due to which I could have jumped off the cliff, and she was only having me tortured so I would reveal who it was from law enforcement who told me about her and what she was doing. She wanted me to reveal the name of the person in law enforcement who told me about her. Obviously, it was Kelly. It's no secret, it was Kelly. But after she had me tortured like that on December 11th, I told her straight out, I was like, look, this is inappropriate. You cannot be doing this. You can't be running after your students. I was being nice to you for way too long. I've had enough. I need you to leave me alone. Leave me the heck alone. You're not supposed to be having relationships with your students in the first place. Leave me the heck alone. I'm not interested in you. Just leave me alone. Please, just go away. That's what I said on December 11th after she had me tortured, because I realized that this woman was aggressive and very dangerous. And at that time, I didn't even know that the brain savant test result from November 14th had come out on the night of December 10th. But yeah, what ended up happening was, so Miss Hopkins went and she slept with Kashif, obviously to try to get him to make testimonies against me. Now, the thing that we have to understand about Miss Hopkins is, Miss Hopkins tried to lie about me to try to get my brain savant locked up, and she wasn't able to, mainly due to the fact that there was no evidence. Obviously, there can't be any evidence. You have to understand the fact that if every second I'm alive after the age of 11 is on file, every single whisper I make is on file, and they could retrieve every single whisper I made after the age of 11, claiming that I was a criminal of any kind, sort, type is not possible. Now, the only way that they could do it is by making up stories where they're very far into the past, and it's hard to retrieve. They think it's hard to retrieve, such as November 20th. They thought that it wouldn't be retrievable. Well, there was a government informant watching them fabricate. Early January, all of it confessed lies, and April, obviously, all of it retrieved through phone conversations, finding out that, everything was a complete total lie from the facts and evidences of the phone conversation retrieved. It didn't even have to be that long ago. They obviously basically thought that all phone conversations were basically deleted immediately, when in fact that's not what happens. Even they could nothing's deleted in the system. So basically, yes, what ended up happening was Miss Hopkins thought that that she could just try to frame me without any evidence, and with the evidence showing and clearly proving that what the claims that she was trying to make against me were all completely false. We also know for a fact that Miss Hopkins and Kashif Firozvi are working on a fabrication against me to try to frame me right now as we speak. The only problem is they cannot have a source for that framing or fabrication. They need a source. They need need Junaid basically, and they need Junaid to claim that he heard my sister say that I was a criminal at one point or another, or anything of that certain nature. But Junaid cannot claim this because he doesn't know what to say. Mainly, my point being that right now, until right now, Junaid has not slept with anyone that they would have they would get. So their plan was to get someone like Kelly to sleep with Junaid, and then Kelly would tell Junaid exactly what the fabrication material would be, and then Junaid would start to claim it and claim that my sister told him that I was a criminal or anything of that sort of nature, when in fact it wouldn't be true. Now, the good news for us is the fact that Kelly hasn't slept with Junaid yet to give him this fabrication material, and we know this for a fact due to the fact that yesterday Junaid got rejected from Miss Deb, who is his mother's age, and Junaid was pursuing her very aggressively, thinking that since Miss Deb is his mother's age, she wouldn't call the police on him. Well, the world is full of surprises, so don't be too sure of your thinking about these things. But the good thing that we know about this is the fact that Kelly has still not given Junaid the fabrication material, which means that today is another day that Junaid cannot have his epiphany, claiming that he knows about me being a criminal of any kind due to my sister telling him about it or anything of that sort of nature, and that Junaid would suddenly just remember this, and then Kashif Firozvi would be having the other parts of this fabrication material. This framing technique that we know for a fact Miss Hopkins was planning against me to get revenge on me for not marrying her and giving her my brain savant money is something that we know for a fact that Kashif Firozvi and Miss Hopkins were planning till recently, till I foiled their plan and let everyone know that this is what they're planning, but their plan cannot continue. They cannot complete this plan due to the fact that they need a source of info for their framing me, and that source of info has to be Junaid, and Junaid has to claim that my sister told him that I was a criminal of some sort in nature, but Junaid cannot claim this until he's told what the fabrication material is, which means that until Kelly sleeps with him and tells him what the fabrication material is, he cannot claim this. And considering the fact that Junaid just got rejected by Miss Deb yesterday, who is his mother's age, clearly proves that Junaid has not slept with Kelly yet, and she has not told him any of the fabrication material yet. So, yes, so his epiphany, Junaid's epiphany, cannot come today, and so he cannot just suddenly have it right after sleeping with Kelly. And now that their plan has been foiled, we know two things. One thing that we know is that Miss Hopkins is hell-bent on getting revenge on me for me not marrying her, and she's getting this revenge on me with Kashif Firozvi, and Kelly from law enforcement is also trying to get this revenge on me while trying to seduce me through my neighbor and trying to run after me. And the other thing that we know is the fact that Kashif Firozvi is a liar who was fully planning on fabricating a lie against me, and who was helping Miss Hopkins help frame me by working on this lie against me, which means that Kashif Firozvi is not doing anything to help the courts get to the truth of the matter, but instead Kashif Firozvi was recently helping Miss Hopkins and Kelly get revenge on me for me not marrying them, giving them my brain savant money by having me framed. The only problem is their plan to try to frame me was foiled and ruined due to the fact that Junaid had still not slept with Kelly, having Kelly tell him about the fabrication material. The reason we know this is due to the fact that Junaid is begging Miss Deb for sleeping with him yesterday, who is his mother's age, which means that he still hasn't slept with Kelly, having Kelly give him the fabrication material yet, which means that their plan has been foiled because Junaid cannot have his epiphany right now in remembering something my sister told him about me being a criminal, which means that he cannot just suddenly have it right after he sleeps with Kelly, which means that their plan has been foiled. But this fact that they were planning on doing this, Miss Hopkins and Kashif Firozvi, proves two things. One is their motive, which is that Miss Hopkins is only having Kashif Firozvi testify against me due to she's having him testify against me to try and get revenge from me for me rejecting her and not marrying her and giving her my brain savant money. And at the same time, the other thing that we know about this is the fact that Kashif Ferozvi is not only doing this on his they're not letting you speak, for his mistress, which is Miss Hopkins, who is a teacher, by the way, a very inappropriate relationship that she was trying to force onto me. And I was just trying to be nice till December 11th when I found out that Miss Hopkins was a very aggressive and dangerous individual who could literally have me murdered for money. If she did not get me to marry her, she would literally have me murdered by aggressively having me tortured very brutally, to the point that I would literally jump off the cliff. Yes, and so what ended up happening was Miss Hopkins, who is Kashif Ferozvi's mistress, had Kashif Ferozvi testify against me in this trial. But with the other thing that we know is the fact that Kashif Ferozvi is a liar who is not only working on behalf of his mistress, that is Miss Hopkins and Kelly from law enforcement, Kelly who was still trying to run after me last night, but that also the fact that Kashif Ferozvi is a liar who was trying to falsely testify against me, claiming that I was a criminal of some sort, but that his plan was foiled due to him not having a source of info. That source of info had to be Junaid, claiming that my sister told him that I was a criminal of some sort, but since Junaid cannot get the fabrication material without sleeping with someone like Kelly, their plan has been foiled since he cannot have that epiphany at that time suddenly that he does not have right now. So basically, yes, this is the thing that we know about Kashif Ferozvi is that he is a liar and he is testifying for his mistress, Miss Hopkins, and he was fully planning and willing on framing me by making a false testimony against me for his mistress, Miss Hopkins, and me rejecting her, that she pursued me very aggressively, especially on December 11th. Miss Hopkins had me tortured by law enforcement very brutally using severe mental torture drugs, only to try to find out who it was from law enforcement who told me about her, to try to run after that person and hurt them or harm them, only because my brain savant test results had come out on December 10th, and she thought that someone from law enforcement had ruined her chances of coming after me. So this we know for a fact is what is going on, and that fact that Kashif Ferozvi is a liar who was in fact planning on trying to frame me for his mistress, Miss Hopkins, who was my English teacher, whom I rejected, and Kashif Ferozvi was fully planning on and hell-bent on getting revenge for his mistress, and Miss Hopkins basically called Kashif Ferozvi right when Ibrahim, the greedy framer, had his kidney failure, and she cried over to him and saying that you have to go and testify in this trial or else Hassan's brain savant is going to get freed, and I'm going to be forced to watch his brain savant money with some other woman that I cannot watch. And Kelly from law enforcement also encouraged Kashif Ferozvi to go and testify as well. She was also his mistress. Kashif Ferozvi basically doing this on behalf of his mistress, Miss Hopkins, meanly. And Miss Hopkins obviously planned this all out. And Kelly from law enforcement was supposed to go and give Junaid the fabrication material, but since it hasn't happened yet, their plan has basically been foiled. But what we know from this plan is the fact that Kashif Ferozvi is not helping the courts get to the truth of the matter, but only doing this on behalf of his mistress, Miss Hopkins, who was my English teacher, who ran after me, and I rejected her, due to which she wants revenge from me. And she is the one who told Kashif Ferozvi to go and testify in this trial against me, to help her get revenge. But we also know for a fact that Miss Hopkins was fully planning on making a false testimony against me through Kashif Ferozvi, but that they did not have a source of info, due to which they had to make Junaid that source of info. They could not get Junaid that source of info because they had not gotten Kelly from law enforcement to sleep with him and have him provided with that source of info yet. But we also know for a fact that that has not happened yet, since Junaid was begging Miss Deb for sex yesterday. And since that Miss Deb is like his mother's age, we know for a fact that Junaid has not slept with Kelly from law enforcement, which means that their plan has been foiled. But what that tells us is the fact that Kashif Ferozvi is a liar who was fully planning on making a false testimony against me. The only problem would be that he did not have a source of info, and that he was only doing this for his mistress, Miss Hopkins, who got rejected by me, and now she wanted revenge from me for getting rejected by me.